Hey, what's going on everybody? Crow here. In today's video we're just going to be going over floor 1 through 30 in the Spire with a bunch of little tips in there. I mean, I'm sure I forgot a lot of tips, so if you have any extra ones, leave them in the comment section below, and hopefully any Guardians that do need help, this is kind of helpful for them, and hope you enjoy. First floor is really simple. Just be sure that you get behind him. The first move that he does is a CC, so get ready to break out of it. Remember to always refresh your royal stacks when you go on to the next floor. On the second floor, position your pet somewhere to locate your pet somewhere to actually pull that next spider, and then just stay within his range so you don't get knocked back by his first skill. On the next floor, make sure you have Rampart Charge ready and Dominant Virtue or Noble Onslaught. But start off with Swift Justice and then just rush at him and just go ahead and finish him off. If you don't have the DPS, try to keep your distance to avoid her first two skills. On Laku's, as you see right here, I mean, if you come in and there's not a Laku in the middle, chances are it's the one on the outside. It's not going to be the one in the middle because that one already left the center. So like as you just seen, it's the one furthest on the outside. But if there is a bunch of Laku, it's typically the one closest to the middle. But like I said, if there's none in the middle, it's going to be the one on the outside. Alright, this one ain't too bad, but the archers that are on the outside and the main archer have a chance to knock you back. So be sure to chain them or just pull them accordingly, whichever way that you can. Refresh them royal stacks on each floor like I said, and then start this fight behind this tree. You want to start it behind it because it does delay his root cast, and hopefully you don't get his Divine cast as well. Alright, now you ain't got to kill the worms on this floor, but as you see in the video, this is the way that I found to actually take out the worms as fast as possible. Once you do make contact with them and aggro the worms, they are going to suck you in and try to CC you, so try to kill them as fast as you can. You can usually do this by starting by a shield move and then jumping into another move to DPS them down as quick as you can. On Alibad's bandits, this floor ain't too bad. Just once the fight starts, just go ahead and chain him. His first skill we are able to block, and if he's still alive for the second skill, just go ahead and keep your distance because they are kind of annoying. This floor is very simple, but his first skill is going to be Earth Smash, and then he's going to summon bombs. At the start of it, go ahead and just chain and gather all the adds that you can and get ready for Earth Smash. Either block it or run away from it, but just go ahead and block it and get ready for bombs. This one's simple. His first skill is going to be Gravity. It's going to pull you in. His second skill is going to be his down punch. You can step behind to avoid that skill, and his third skill is going to be his jump, which you could also jump to avoid. Start this floor off just like that with a Rampart Charge to go ahead and close the distance and chain him and just go ahead and get him out of the way. Once the summoner is activated, he has a chance to summon 6 more summoners. You could either run to the next portal and skip them, or you could stay and get your points and go ahead and kill them all. On the next floor, on floor 12, is going to be the summoner. She has 3 stages, first being the Golem, second being Merc, and third being Azora. What you want to do is try to just chain interrupt every skill that they do perform, and the first one's going to be the Golem. He's going to start doing his punch down pretty quick, and then Merc's going to try to do his Hellfire, but hopefully you can chain interrupt every skill that they do have. This one gives a lot of people problems, but just remember the assassin on the far right, that Chaos Elf, is the one who inflicts bleed, so either avoid him at all cost or kill him as quick as possible. The Deathlord Liga, his first skill right there is going to be the knockback, and then the one that you have to really worry about is going to be his Earthquake. Just run away from Earthquake, try to avoid it the best that you can, or if shit gets a little sketchy, you can block it if you have to. Alright, this floor, try to line up the Dark Arrow and the Divine's hit with your block and try to time it at the same time. As you see here, I'm going to try to get them at the same time and then block it. That way both skills go off at the same time and they're both blocked. The main one is going to be Roa. You're going to want to chain interrupt every spell that she has or kill her as quick as possible, because that root is pretty serious and her dot is also serious. Alright, on the eye, it's pretty straightforward. You don't really do much. The first skill is going to be interrupt our skill cast. It's going to interrupt everything that we do, so get ready to rotate into a different skill after that. And his second skill is going to be a knockback. As long as you have a rampart charge to get back up and rush back into the fight, that's fine. And if the ghosts do appear, make sure you kill them, because they are a shit ton of points. Alright, on this one, you just want to fight by the pillars. His first move is going to be avalanche, because he's going to want to close the distance. Once he gets at you, DPS him and the pillars as quick as possible, and then move on to the next pillar if you can. And encroaching darkness is also blockable, so go ahead and get ready to block it as well. If he gets into this third cast of being the auras, just try to avoid that at all costs, or just finish DPS him, because that shit really does hurt. On this floor right here, you can aggro the sheep with your pet to try to keep the sheep away from you, because he does silence you every now and then. And Death Aura can be blocked, but the block has to be laid down 1/3 within the cast time. So you have to block it very quick before the halfway point of his cast time. Death Axe, of course, is blockable, and his second slam down move, it's kind of sketchy, so you can't really avoid it, or you can run away from it, but I usually just take it. On the chef floor, just gather them the quickest way that you can. In the video you see this is the quickest way I found to gather all the mobs. His first skill you can block, and the second and third you could either block or just step away from to avoid. This is also a good floor to go ahead and just read all your buffs if you can. Or right now you see I'm at 32 minutes, so if you're a little slower or at around 30 minutes, it's a really good floor to go ahead and just rebuff all your food. Carleon's pretty simple. I mean, he ain't too bad. The first skill, depending on your DPS, you're going to either want to avoid it or just stay and just hope you can just out DPS the heal that he does perform. Once he casts two Carleons, you want to try to pull them away from him to avoid the sacrifice being made, or you could just DPS him and hope that you kill the Carleons before that. As you see right there, Abyss Bell is also one of his skills. We can CC out of it, so it ain't a big deal. And of course, if you want to kill the horse, go ahead and do it for more points. Alright, unlike the previous one that we fought, this Death Aura cannot be blocked. The Death Axe can be blocked, but the Death Aura has to be either, run around them, as you're going to see in the video, circling them kinda, or just, get out of the way of it. But other than that, this fight's pretty straightforward once you get the gist of running away from that. His third skill right there, the slam down, you can't really avoid it. It's also one of those fishy moves. But once he casts Hell's Gate, you either want to out DPS him within the damage over time, the aura that it's putting out, or just pull him to another corner and fight him there. Now Adius Jr., he's kind of a simp. All you want to do is just DPS him out of the way. Once the blue orbs come, though, they are a good amount of points, though. So if you want to pull the fight towards the blue orbs and fight them there, that's probably a good deal, because you are going to get a lot of points for killing the blue orbs. As you see here, I'm pulling them over here so I can fight them and kill the blue orbs at the same time. Alright, now on the pirate floor, this one's pretty simple once you understand how to gather the mobs. The most important mob is probably going to be the octopus, which gives evasion boost, and the sea turtle at 8 or 3 o'clock over there, that gives a defense boost. Other than that, we're going to want to pull all the ads in there, and be sure to kill the sea turtle, because he does put a nasty debuff on us. So then just start DPSing the pirate down and slowly gathering in the crocodile, the octopus, and the sea turtle by the end of the fight. Or you could just wait till the end of the fight and DPS them there. That way you don't have to worry about the buffs that they do give pirate. Alright, you ain't gotta gather all the mobs here. I do it for extra points, but you can go ahead and chain yourself like I just did to get an extra speed boost and avoid that first skill. It does have a 20-second cooldown, And right after he casts that skill, it puts out an invisible like stun lock, like an aura, almost a cone shape, but it's a very narrow cone shape. So as soon as he casts that, you're going to want to either step left or step right or step behind him. I find it easier to just go ahead and step left to avoid the whole stun lock after that skill altogether. You'll see me right there move left, and then I don't get stunned. So be sure that you're doing that, because it is a pretty strong 4 or 5 second stun that you have to sit there and wait. And this is also a really good floor to go ahead and just redope or rebuff everything that you got, all your foods and everything. Alright, on this floor, Magnatu, or however you say it, on the far right, he is the one who fears us, so you're always going to want to try to chain interrupt him as much as you can and go ahead and get him out of the way before you worry about Irene or anything like that. Just make sure you kill him and then jump on Irene. Irene's first skill is going to be Cold Shield, where she buffs up to 100%. Now this skill does stack, so you're going to want to go ahead and get it off or kill her before the second rotation comes into effect, because it does stack with the first rotation. The second one's going to be the Hail. You can either run away from it to avoid it, but if you do that, just make sure that you are doing Weapon Toss or Execution Warrant just to keep some DPS on her, or just stay in the middle and hope you get lucky. Now the third one's going to be Horrified, which is a long ass fear, so you're going to want to avoid it at all costs by just running away from it. Alright, now this one's pretty simple. His first move is going to be Snow Bombs. You just jump to avoid it. And the second one's going to be Warm Embrace, where he just pulls you in and interrupts our skills. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but you are going to want to jump to avoid his Snow Bombs. Now, if you do get caught by the Snow Bomb and you get knocked back, that's alright. Just always fight with your back to that open. That way, when you get up, you can just Rampart charge back into the fight. Now, this next one, the Ice Golem, I was stuck on this one for a very long time, and the way that I had to do it before, I had to fight this whole fight in like quadrants. I had to fight at the bottom right with just a reindeer, and then I had to fight it as soon as he did his first cast. I would move to the top right. That way I avoid Cold Aura altogether, because he only casts around his feet. So you don't want to get caught in those cold auras and actually be rooted. That way when he gets to his skill where he summons the 5 bombs, you don't get messed up. So you can fight this in different sections of the map to avoid mobs and to avoid his cold aura, which ain't too bad. But just remember that you can use the mushrooms from Shady Warrens to increase your buffs and your movement speed. I mean, and you can chain yourself, which is always good. So if you do get caught being rooted, or not so much rooted, but getting your speed debuffed to the point of being rooted, make sure that you're either chaining yourself or stacking pets or eating those mushrooms so you can get out of there and avoid being fucked up by the bombs. Alright, Babor, he's pretty straightforward. He doesn't do much. His first skill is all his skills are actually blockable, and Strong Will you can interrupt by going into a shielding combo like a Ringing Shield or something like that. Those are always 50-50, but you can do that. He does spawn the ads, and you're gonna, if you DPS him hard, you're gonna want to stay in there and wait on the ads to spawn, because they are a lot of points. So you're just gonna want to hold off on the DPS. You'll see me do that in this video, and just wait on him to spawn, and then just finish him off from there. Now his first skill, the hammer, rage hammer, whatever, that is jumpable. So if like you're not on a guardian, although this video is for guardians, if you're not on a guardian and don't want to block it, you could always jump it. And his second skill, that one right there, you could always just step behind him to avoid it. But like as you see right here, wait on the next ads to spawn, because they are a lot of points. Alright, next floor is going to be Rondo. Rondo's pretty straightforward. Now, his cast and his cast rotation does depend on his level of health, and it is health based. So his first cast is usually going to be well, it's not necessarily a cast, but that swing right there is going to happen usually after 2 rotations, and then he's going to either do Freezing Wind, or he's going to jump into Rupture. Right here he jumped into Freezing Wind, and then you just get your distance. Make sure to keep an eye on your pet, because if it does spread to your pet, he's gonna die. So I mean, make sure you block rupture, step behind his first swing. That one right there, I couldn't step behind, but just be sure to try to step behind it to avoid it. And that's about all it is for the Rondo fight. He's I wouldn't say easy, but it's pretty straightforward. Alright, now after you take out Rondo, he's going to have two little mini Rondos that spawn. You could go ahead and throw hammer at the one on the left and start the fight with one on the right. That way you do have some kind of splash damage going on at both of them at the same time. Now remember to utilize as many shield moves as you can. That way we don't get knocked down over and over by these dudes. But other than that, they're pretty straightforward, but they are annoying as hell. Now on floor 29, this fight's also kind of annoying because they do knock you down a lot. Just space out your moves that do interrupt their casting abilities, such as your chains and your noble onslaught that pulls them to you. That way you can avoid any kind of knockups that they do perform and just out DPS them. Now he does have one move, Iron Jaw, which you can step behind to avoid altogether. So as soon as he casts Iron Jaw, just step behind him and just keep DPSing him. As you've seen there, I just stepped behind it. Now he still cast it, but the spell's effect of CCing us doesn't go through. Now floor 30, I might actually pause the video right here because some people are still struggling with floor 30. If you ain't, I mean, go ahead because, you know. But on floor 30, just remember his rotation depends on where you start this fight. If you're outside of the 5-meter range, you might start this fight immediately with a breath, or he might start it immediately with an uppercut, but you want to start it, he has a red circle below his feet, you want to start it as close to him as possible and then go ahead and try to get your auto attacks going. Now at the very beginning of the fight, he's going to get about 1 or 2 swings off you before he starts his breath or his rotation. Now his rotation is breath, uppercut, his pummel, and then his down punch. Now on the first rotation, all of this happens consecutively. Breath, uppercut, his down punch, or his pummel, and then his down punch, like one after the other. Alright, now everything after that rotation, it's going to be breath, uppercut, down pummel, and then he's going to swing 3 times and then down punch. Don't get caught in the mix with a down punch because a lot of people don't know when it's going to come. Just wait about 2 or 3 swings or 3 swings and just keep rotating. Now in this video you'll see that I just keep rotating them. I probably can just stick around and try to out DPS him as much as I can, but his dots that he throws on us hurts like hell. So I mean, you want to avoid everything that he does at all costs. And if you do get caught with him, just try to run between his legs as much as you can to avoid him. But as you'll see in this video, I try to circle him at all costs to avoid any move. Alright, once that's triggered, you can just go ahead and step behind him and just keep the DPS up. So then uppercut, this down punch, and now immediately, dang, there's his immediate. Now every rotation after that, it's not going to be immediate. It's going to be about 3 swings, and you'll see within the next one. Now when he does go into his rage fit or anything like that, he picks up the rotation where he starts. So instead of having that 30-second cooldown that you would have had before then, it's going to immediately start where it left off. Bam. He's going to pummel. Now he's going to get about 3 swings off. 1, 2, 3. Now he's going to about to punch. Bam. Alright, just remember that. Now it follows that rotation and the timing for the rest of the fight. So you can't avoid every move that he does do. Now when he does pillars, I just like to fall back, you know, try to auto attack him, throw a weapon toss or some shit at him, and just keep on moving because he's going to pick up where he left off if he was in the middle of a combo. Or he'll start the next combo as you see right here. That one's just a knockback. If the little Yetis do spawn, try to kill them as much as you can because there are a lot of points. I really hope this helps some of you guys. I mean, I know a lot of you aren't getting stuck on anywhere between 4-1 through 30, but some guys are. I mean, I don't know everything, but I hope some of this information does help some of you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you later.